let's just dive right into it. Okay, so our first story, okay, is about a film that's going to be coming out in the middle of next month. So, right after Creed 3 and everything else. So, this is probably going to be, um, it's going to be an interesting movie. The first one did very well. And um, I'm talking about Shazam Fury of the Gods. So, the first one made a whole bunch of money for DC and Warner Brothers and was actually one of the surprises for Warner Brothers. Um, Zachary Levi, Zachary Levi was amazing in this role. Kyle's not has seen it. I haven't, but I've seen clips and I hear it's really really good and it's funny and it's witty and it's got the superhero thing. And so this is the origin of him being Shazam. So our first story comes from the Hollywood Reporter, and as I said, it's going to be opening up in a few weeks. And so Fury of the Gods right now is probably tracking for between 35 to 40 million dollars. So here's the piece. New Line Cinema's Fury of the Gods is tracking for a low-key domestic between 35 to 40 million dollars, according to first projections. Now, mind you, you got to understand these are very, very, very early projections. I mean, this isn't coming out for another 3 weeks. More bullish box office analysts, however, believe it will match the first film. The movie came on tracking Thursday. Among the services, 35 million is NRG, Hollywood's leading research firm, according to those with access to the data. Hollywood studios and tracking companies tend to be conservatives in their estimates, as tracking has become fraught in the pandemic era. Numerous movies in recent months have opened well below or above the projections. Shazam! Fury of the Gods opens March 17th and is the second studio superhero pick of 2023 after Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which debuted last week in theaters across the globe. The first Shazam starred Zachary Levi and Asher Angel in the lead roles. Debuted domestically at $53.5 million in April 2019. It cost a reported $100 million to produce, far less than a usual Hollywood superhero tentpole. The friendly the family-friendly movie topped out at $366 million at the worldwide box office, including $140.5 million domestically and $43.8 million from China. The sequel, the sequel recently just landed a China release date. The sequel follows Billy Batten, Angel, and her fellow foster kids who are still trying to figure out how to balance teenagers with their alter ego. When the daughters of Atlas, a vengeful trio of gods, arrive on Earth, the kids are thrust into a battle for their superpowers, their lives, and the fate of the world. Shazam 2 stars franchise's newcomers Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and Rachel Ziegler, who take on the role as goddesses Hesben, Calepta, and Antonis, respectively. Shazam 2 is also the first of four DC films to be that are due to be released this year that was made before James Gunn and Peter Safran took over the heads of as co-heads of DC Studios in November, and began reshaping the upcoming slate. Safran is a producer on Shazam. The sequel is the first DC pick to hit theaters since Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav installed Gunn and Safran. Okay, so I think this is an interesting movie. Um, because first and foremost, it's not your average superhero pick, right? It's your kids having a good time at the theater, um, coming of age story, but still trying to save the world. Um, and the first one did very well for him. I mean, it made $366 million. Um, so it was one of those, you know, um, I think this performed a lot bigger than um, they thought. So I think that this is going to be a really good uh, film for them. And it's one of those things where I think that sequels always, and the other thing you got to understand is this: sequels tend to not do as well just because they are sequels. You put out a good flick to start, you want something better, and it's always hard. Um, but I think this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to make as much though as the original, just because A, it is a sequel, like I just said, but B, you have Creed, you have Creed 3 coming out in a couple weeks, which by the way we'll be covering here on the channel. But so that'll be coming out 2 weeks prior. I think people are still going to want to go see, Michael B. Jordan and everything else. So, but right now, 35 to 40 million seems about right. That seems about right. I mean, I don't think they're expecting any more from it than that. Um, so I mean, the fact that you do have Helen Mirren coming on, that's going to be fun. Um, and Rachel Ziegler, who is huge, in West Side Story, and she's done a lot of other projects. So I like this. I think it's going to be a fun movie. I don't think it's going to be, too campy. You're going to have your laughs, and I think it's going to, I think it's going to be a good time. And the other thing too is I'll say is this: this is a good start. Like we've got a couple of other movies coming out after this, right? John Wick 4 and some other ones. So this is exactly what we need right in between a hard hitting, literally and figuratively, Creed 3, John Wick 4, a nice, fun, lighthearted movie. So I think this is going to do good. Um, whether Zachary Levi stays on as Shazam is to be said. Um, but yeah, so I mean, it's going to be fun. What do you guys think? Do you think that, Shazam 2 is going to outperform those numbers? Do you think it's going to make less than those numbers? Are you excited for Shazam 2? Are you going to go see it opening weekend, or do you think you're going to wait for the reviews to go see it? Do me a favor. Leave me your thoughts down in the comments and I'll get back to you.